Despite being arguably the best wide receiver in the entire nation, Zachary Sparks could not stay on the field, whether it be not being good enough, injuries, or academic ineligibility. However, in Zachary's sophomore season, he balled out at Vanderbilt before being suspended indefinitely due to his grades. Despite all of Zachary's success early in the season, Vanderbilt was not winning and finished the year with only 2 wins. At the end of the season, despite missing 4 games, Zachary won nearly every major award aside from the Heisman, and despite being this good, no team was looking to take a chance on him in the portal, leading him to stay at Vanderbilt for his junior season. As soon as Zachary returned to campus, he was greeted with some bad news. He had to fight for his wide receiver 1 job again. "Coach, had we not done enough for you last season? We single-handedly are the reason you are still in a job." And in the first game of the year, Zachary showed exactly why he should be wide receiver 1. And despite it being a very weak FCS Southeast school, Vanderbilt still somehow managed to struggle against them, which is not a good look. However, Zachary did ball out and would finish the game with 3 touchdowns, even though this one doesn't count. And I don't know what is wrong with the game. He clearly scored the touchdown, and the review showed it, but it doesn't show up on our stat sheet, so we got robbed. Luckily, Zachary's off-season training program, which had him putting on weight and muscle, finally showed on this block right here. And of course, after the game, to absolutely nobody's shock, Zachary won both SEC and National Offensive Player of the Week. However, this did not land him on a spot on the Heisman watch. In Vanderbilt's next game against Purdue, Zachary's quarterback started off very slow, throwing this quick interception. However, he was eventually able to back it up and somehow get this ball into Zachary for his first touchdown of the game. Eventually, he started to slow back down, and Zachary had to start taking screen passes for long yards. Then, in the fourth quarter, down by 4, the injury bug hit Zachary again, leading him to miss the rest of the game, and somehow, Vanderbilt ended up pulling out the win 24-21. In their next game against SMU, Zachary started off very slow, with his first reception coming on this screen pass, and then it didn't really go up from there. Zachary struggled this game and was eventually pulled in the fourth quarter, in which they'd lose 34-7. However, in the next game against Sandeigo State, that bounce-back game Zachary was looking for would come early, taking this screen pass 90 yards all the way to the house. Sandeigo State would then take the lead 10-7, but Zachary caught this pass, broke a tackle, and took this one all the way to the house to make it 14-10. Sandeigo State would then score again, making it 17-14 with 30 seconds left in the half. But trying to make something happen, Zachary's quarterback made this terrible throw, leading to an interception by Sandeigo State. However, thanks to their defense, Sandeigo State would not score, leading it 17-14 after half. Then Zachary made this incredible catch to put them inside the 10, and then they, of course, did not score. However, Sandeigo State could not either. And then here, on this 3rd and 7 with 3.5 minutes left, Zachary torches in defender, catches his crossing route, and sets them up for a nearly game-winning touchdown. Then in the red zone, Zachary comes up clutch again, catching this out route, and then catching this comebacker for the go-ahead touchdown. Surprisingly, the defense came up clutch and gave the offensive ball back, and on this slant play right here, Zachary caught it and sealed the game with a 21-20 win over Sandeigo State. And Zachary's bounce-back mission was complete, finishing with 360 yards and 23 catches and 3 touchdowns. After last season's shootout ended in a 55-52 loss last year against South Carolina, Zachary was looking to come back for revenge, and he did so, just so, on this first play, catching this out route to get things started. After that, nothing was stopping Zachary, catching another out route to get them another first down. And then, again, another out route to get them another first down with the leaping catch. Did South Carolina just not learn? And then a comebacker. Do they not learn? They can't guard him. And then in the red zone, what do you know? A comebacker. And then for second and goal, he has his defender lost and catches his first touchdown of the game. Does a step back, had him lost both on the touchdown and there. And then on a screen pass on 2nd and 5, takes it 20 yards, and that's good. Then on 1st and 10, takes a jet touch pass another 5 or 6 yards. Then screen pass again. He's open, and then his quarterback does the best impression, Nathan Peterman, and throws an interception. Then Zachary torches his defense again, even though they're down 3. And then another out route. Who's shocked? Then another out route. Another catch. He's just killing them. Then another out route, but his quarterback's Nathan Peterman, so it doesn't matter. Then screen pass all the way to the house. Second touchdown of the game, 14-9. And at half, Zachary has 14 catches, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Then coming out of half, Zachary gets absolutely run through by the safety, causing him to drop the pass. And then he gets absolutely annihilated on this slant and gets somehow still alive. And then another screen pass. South Carolina would go on to score again, and then he caught this pass and then took the entire Bonnie Blue team with him. Then he burnt his guy off the line and somehow came down with this ball here. Then a corner route for a first down. On 1st and goal, Zachary was pressed up by the corner. He went up, called for ball, went up, and dropped it. However, on 3rd and goal, he wasn't going to let that stop him, and he caught this ball on the side of the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the game. Then he got fucking ran through again. And then on this block, he let his quarterback get through on 2nd and 1 to basically seal the game. And then another screen pass after the turnover, which officially sealed the game. And then another one, but doesn't matter at this point. And that officially got his get back, winning 21-17 and finishing with 25 catches for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns. Before the next game against Alabama, Zachary went out to the bar, got blackout drunk, and changed his hair up again. Vanderbilt came out in all black this game to signify Alabama's funeral. And that did look promising, getting a 5-yard gain to start. Zachary, however, was still hungover and could barely see his routes on the field. He did, however, catch his out route, and then on the next possession, did the exact same thing for this catch on the sideline. And then on the next play, I don't think Zach was the only one that was seeing things. I think his quarterback was too, throwing this terrible interception. However, on the next drive, he caught this comebacker and was somehow not able to get the first down. I don't think Alabama was happy with him, but was able to get it on the next play. Then, on another screen pass, he took this one a solid yards and got laid out. After giving the Alabama the ball back, his quarterback threw up this terrible ball and somehow was not picked off. Then, on 2nd and 10, Zachary was able to catch his ball up the middle for a first down. After another gain of 2, Zachary came back on this corner route and was able to get another first down. Then, on another screen pass, he was able to get it for a few yards. Then, Zachary's quarterback turned into prime Nathan Peterman again and threw yet another interception. But isn't anyone shocked? Then on the next play, what do you know, Zachary's quarterback threw it 10 yards over his head. On 2nd down, Zachary ran the same route and his quarterback was actually able to make a good pass this time, and he got the first down. Then on 1st down, Zachary routes up his man and his quarterback throws an interception on the other side of the field. He's ass. Then, once they get the ball back, Zachary ran this crossing route, and then a back out. He had his defender lost for a first down. Zachary then gets jammed and gets to put an absolute blender and gets a comebacker somehow and actually gets the first down. Then on 1st down, Zachary gets open, and what do you know? His quarterback throws it 5 feet over his head. Then on the next 1st down, comes across the middle and gets it. And there's a flag, but thank God it was not on his teammate, because I think Zachary would have murdered someone. And then he caught this post up the middle kind of thing. And then on 3rd and 10 with the game out of reach, he caught this corner and was able to dive for the first down, not that he needed to. He then caught a comebacker for another first down. And while the game was out of reach, Zachary was still stat padding. And on 4th and 9, he caught yet another out route for another first down. And then on 1st down, he then took his signature screen pass all the way inside the 10. Then on 2nd and goal, he scored his first touchdown of the game on an out route. He's just straight up stat padding now. And then on the next drive, he got open here and was able to make a catch. And then he was able to get down and call a timeout. On the next play, he was able to catch another comebacker and then call another timeout. Then a screen pass he took all the way down to the 25. And then yet another screen pass, which he was able to take down to the 15. Then on 3rd and 7, with 5 seconds left, he was able to catch a corner route and get into the end zone for his second touchdown of the game. Ended up being futile, though, as Kalen DeBoer and Alabama beat the brace off him 31-13, with Zachary having 31 catches for 290 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then, looking at the stats, his quarterback had 6 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 315 yards. His running back, they ran for negative yards all game. That's how bad they were. And then receiving-wise, no one else did well aside from Zachary with his 290 yards, 1 reception, 18 yards. He is the single-handedly this offense. He is this offense. Look at this, 24 and 18. Before his next game against Texas, Zachary looked at his stats where he leads the league in receptions, tied for touchdowns, is the most average yards per game, and the most receptions, but also leads the league in drops. To start off this game against Texas, Zachary caught this crossing route on this ball that was a terrible placement by his quarterback and got absolutely right on the process, and then caught this next ball. And then on 1st and 10 of the next drive, caught this one too up the middle. On the next play, Zachary caught this post, spun out his defender, and got dragged down at the 12. But then on 2nd and 10, Zachary caught this ball at the 1 and was able to drag his defender with him into the end zone. And on the next drive, caught this ball over the middle for a first down. And then I just can't tell if this is terrible defense or great offense. He caught this ball for a gain of 25. Then on 2nd down, his quarterback threw a pick. Is anybody shocked? Somehow, though, his defense came up clutch and didn't allow a point. But then his quarterback fumbled and then got tackled for safety. After that, things just fell apart. Texas scored, and then on this comeback, he was able to break a tackle, juke his defender, and drag down to the 50. And then on the next play, Zachary has his defenders lost, and his quarterback makes a terrible throw. After getting the first down, Zachary gets pressed off the line, and his quarterback throws yet another interception. After Texas scores again, Zachary's quarterback throws yet another pick. At this point, that's 3 in a row. He's got a three-peat. And then after kicking a field goal to end the half, Zachary was able to get home open on the zig down 25 seconds. Then, on second down, Zachary doesn't get open, but finally is, and able to catch his pass. Then on 1st and 10, Zachary's able to catch his comebacker and gets brought down. Then another comebacker and gets brought down again. Then on this out route, he catches it and is able to gain a few yards after the tackle. Zachary then had this unusual drop on this zig in the end zone. However, after kicking a field goal, Zachary was able to redeem himself on this zig here. Then on 1st and 10 with the game basically out of reach, his quarterback throws his hospital ball. Then on the next play on 2nd and 10, he runs a crossing route for a first down. And then on this ball right here, he catches it for another 20, 30-yard gain. Then on another dig route, Zachary dices up his man and catches it for a first down. Then on the next play, his quarterback does what he does best and throws another interception. Looking at the last 4 games of the season, Zachary was thinking they could get Vanderbilt to be bowl eligible. On 3rd and 5 of the first drive, Zachary abandons his route and runs a slant over the middle and gets the first down. On the next play, he actually runs his desired route, being a post, and catches it for a gain of 25. Down 9 in the second quarter, Zachary runs a post, puts a truck on his defender, and is able to outmaneuver the defense into the end zone for his first touchdown of the game. Then, after his defense only holds him to 3, he catches this out route for another big gain. And then he runs this crossing route and is able to somehow take it away from the defender. And on 1st and goal, Zachary comes across, and his teammate actually gets the ball and gets him down to the 2. And then on this next play, he catches this out route for a touchdown. On the next drive, down 7, Zachary gets a started with yet another out route. I don't think he seems to drop these. Then on 3rd and 2, with the 6 minutes left, Zachary drops his out route, leading to 4th down. They do convert it, and then on 2nd down, Zachary catches his 3rd touchdown of the game. Missouri, though, goes down and scores 3, and then Zachary catches this post to get them inside the 20, within the 20. Then on 1st and goal with 30 seconds, Zachary's teammate actually does something and scores a touchdown, finally. The defense needs to hold up, and they do, securing Vanderbilt a 27-23 win over Missouri, where Zach had 25 catches for 321 yards and 3 touchdowns. In the next game against Kentucky, Zachary started things off hot with this catch right here to get them the first down. And then, on the next play, he caught the exact same pass for another first down. And then, he ran a comeback to perfection, but this linebacker made a great play on it, sealing an interception for Kentucky. Somehow down 28-0 already, Zachary comes up with his crucial drop to end this game, basically. And then, he does make up for it with his acrobatic catch, but it's over already. 35 points in one half is insane, and then Zachary is not able to catch this ball somehow, but he is able to catch this screen pass and take it to the house. On his way, he's thinking about how bad of a blowout it is. On the first play of the next drive, they run the same play, but it's a bad pass by the quarterback, and they only end up getting 1 yard out of it. They'd end up getting blown out, where Zachary rushed for 3 yards and had 168 yards through the air, 1 touchdown, averaged 10.5 yards per reception on 16 receptions and 4 drops. Already down 14-0 to Auburn in the second to last game of the season, Zachary was able to come up with this catch and go for 20 yards. And then, in the red zone, his teammates were finally able to do something as they scored a touchdown. Down 21-7 with 15 seconds left in the half, Zachary went out on this corner and was able to get it out of bounds. While they were unable to do anything with it, they did score on this bubble screen that was, again, his teammates scoring. Zachary then beat his man off the line and was able to catch his deep bomb for at least 40 yards. Then on 4th and 1, down 14, Zachary was able to come up with this clutch cigarette to score the touchdown. However, the results would be futile as Auburn ended up scoring 14 unanswered to win the game, 42-21. Zachary would end the game with 14 receptions, 189 yards, and a touchdown. Before Zachary's potential last college game of his career, he shaved his head and went back to the buzz cut. On the first play of the game, Zachary ran this comeback route and gained a few yards. On 3rd and 11, Zachary found the soft spot in the zone, but was not able to hang on to the pass. And then on the next drive, I don't even know what happened on this pass, but what a terrible pass from the quarterback. On the next drive, to get things started, they started with a screen pass for a gain of 8. On 3rd and 4 later in the drive, Zachary got open on this comeback and secured the catch for the first down. Then on 1st and 10 in the red zone, Zachary was open, and I don't even know what happened on this pass. Was it even going to Zachary? But Zachary just stood there as they took it back to the house. On the first play out of the 2-minute warning,
They got this pass, and this receiver broke multiple tackles. Then on the very next play, Zachary ran yet another comeback and got yet another first down. However, on 1st and 10, just a minute later, he got absolutely laid out on this terrible pass. He then, however, was able to catch this out route and get out of bounds for a gain of 8. Then on 3rd and 2, he caught a screen pass for the first down. Then on the very next play, his quarterback throws yet another interception. Terrible throw, anyways. To start off the third quarter, Zachary gets open here, but his quarterback just throws a check down anyways. Then, just seconds later, Zachary cooks his defenders, gets by him, and catches his deep ball, but is eventually dragged down at the 25. And then on 3rd and 6, Zachary gets open, has a step, but drops the pass. On the next drive, Zachary is about to catch his terrible pass before he gets absolutely rammed in the back. And on 3rd down, catches his comeback route and is not able to get the first down. With just 3.5 minutes left to play, down 27, Zachary's able to catch his out route and nearly get the first down. Then on 3rd and 7, he's able to come up with this catch for the first down. Then with 30 seconds left, not wanting to go out in his potential final college game without a touchdown, he goes up and just snags this one and is able to get into the end zone for a touchdown in his potential final college game of his career. Hits the salute and everything. Look at this replay. He just takes it to the house, 4 guys behind him, and he's just barely able to get in there. What a play. In what could be his final college game, he had 19 receptions for 239 yards and 1 touchdown, along with 2 drops. At the end of the season, when awards came around, he was trying to get a Heisman, and he eventually won the Walter Camp Award, the Maxwell Award, where he nearly finished with 3,000 yards, and the Heisman Trophy. He's finally able to get the Heisman. He also is, of course, gets a Fred Biletnikoff Award, and then is, of course, going to be first team All-SEC and first team All-American. With the decision to either go to the draft or continue playing college ball looming on his mind, he finally made his decision.
This just in, Zachary Sparks will no go to the draft and will instead play his senior season at Florida State. This is very shocking, seeing as last season he won the Heisman and was going to be a first-round pick this year, but he decides to go to a school where he might not even the best receiver.
Lay. Sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Kane is in the building.
Yeah. Alright, already the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun? Just remember when you come up. The show goes on. Alright, already the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun? Just remember when you come up. The show goes on. Have you ever had the feeling that you was being had? Don't that shit that make you mad? They treat you like a slave, put chains all on your soul and put whips up on your back. They be lying through they teeth, hope you slip up off your path. I don't switch up, I just laugh, put my kicks up on they desk.